Spider-Man 2 changes more than you think, from a new parry mechanic to amazing new ways to get around the larger map of New York. I'll run down everything you need to know without any story spoilers, starting with the obvious biggest change for Spider-Man 2, you can now play as both Peter and Miles. Most activities can be completed with either Spider-Man, but there are character-specific activities too, like the Brooklyn Visions missions for Miles and the Flame side quest for Peter. Swapping is as easy as opening your phone menu by swiping left on the touchpad and then holding square. And while you can of course pick a favorite and play with only Miles or Peter, sometimes it's actually smart to enter a specific activity with a specific character. Miles for instance shines in the very early game activity Marco's Memories, as his lightning based powers instantly kill the Sandman that you have to fight. He of course also has a slight advantage in stealth encounters because of his camouflage, while Peter is better suited for big combat encounters like hunter bases thanks to his powerful new symbiote surge that I'll talk about more later in the video. And what's cool is that the other Spider-Man, so the one you aren't currently playing, can join you when stopping a crime in the city, which will actually give you some extra XP when it happens too. Peter and Miles also each have their separate skill trees with powers exclusive to each character, and there is a shared skill tree as well that unlocks upgrades for both Spider-Man. You don't earn separate skill points for these different trees, which means you need to decide if you want to focus on Miles, Peter, or a bit of both. I definitely recommend the latter, as during the main story the game will decide who you control, and the division here is fairly 50-50. So it's smart to at least spend skill points in the shared skill tree early on to improve both characters at the same time. But regardless of which character you play, you'll also notice a big new addition to combat. Peter and Miles are now able to parry attacks by pressing L1. If you press the button too early, you will block instead and reduce the damage you would have taken. But if you press just at the right time, so as the warning indicator over your head turns red, you take no damage, cancel an enemy's attack, and are able to counter with a powerful punch. So this offers you a new option for dealing with melee attackers, as parries don't work on ranged attacks. You can still wait for the warning indicator to turn red for a perfect dodge, which will web up and stun an enemy for a short time. But these parries are brand new, and some special melee attacks even require you to parry them, which are marked with this yellow icon. These attacks usually cover a lot of ground, which means they cannot be dodged. If you are unsure if you are able to get the parry timing right, jumping over them is also an option. To spice up combat even more, there are also attacks marked by a blue icon, which means that the only way to avoid taking damage is to dodge. So definitely keep an eye out for these special attacks and use the right moves to counter. Traversal has also received a massive change that mixes up the entire flow, which are the web wings. These allow you to glide throughout the city, especially useful when you use them from a high vantage point, as you will lose altitude the longer you fly. The web wings also allow you to make use of these wind streams, which you can easily spot by using your scan with R3. Flying in a wind stream is much faster, and you also don't lose altitude. What's especially nice is that there are multiple of those that run across the river that divides the map, so definitely make use of them if you need to get to the other side quickly. And don't worry about dropping in the water, as hitting it while using the web wings will transition you into this surf animation where you ride out the last of your momentum. This can also be triggered if you swing and hit the water surface with enough speed, and you can jump while surfing to transition back into swinging or gliding. Another new addition are these slingshots that can often be found on higher rooftops throughout New York. These allow you to perform a supercharged variant of the slingshot launch skill, and they can even be used without the skill unlocked. The best way to use them is to launch yourself and then activate the web wings, as the massive amount of momentum you get means you can fly really far. Overall, this means you can quickly cover large distances with the web wings and then use your regular swinging for more precise movements and shorter distances. And there are way more big changes in Spider-Man 2, of course. If you liked the video so far, be sure to leave a like, as it really helps us out, and subscribe as well, as we got way more Spider-Man 2 videos coming your way. Next to big additions, some gameplay systems have also seen a big overhaul. We do still have the familiar focus bars that you build up with combos and can then spend on takedowns or to heal yourself. Many of your basic moves like air launches and swing kicks also return, but like I said, there are some big changes too. The gadget system has been heavily streamlined when compared to the first Spider-Man. You no longer have a gadget wheel, and you don't need to, as there are only 4 gadgets to unlock. These are then accessed by holding R1 and pressing one of the face buttons, which makes using them much easier during combat. Now you might have less gadgets, but they can still be upgraded, and you still have a ton of options in combat thanks to the new abilities. Technically, Miles already had these during his game, but Peter now also has multiple unique abilities that are very powerful but need to be recharged after use. What's new for for both Peter and Miles is that each ability slot now has multiple abilities you can swap between. So Miles can swap between his regular Venom and his electric blue attacks, or use a combination of both, and the same is true for Peter, who can use his spider arms, symbiote powers, or a combo of the two. And speaking of symbiote powers, Peter also has access to a new ultimate type ability called Symbiote Surge that is incredibly powerful. After the meter is filled up, you can activate it by pressing both sticks to transform Peter into a symbiote powerhouse. Attacks are much more powerful and low health enemies are instantly killed off with a brutal finisher that does not cost you any focus to perform. It's very satisfying to just mow down groups of enemies with this ability, as you are pretty much unstoppable while Surge is active. Miles also has an ultimate ability, which is the returning Mega Venom Blast he also gained access to near the end of his previous game. It's a very powerful AoE ability that can easily clear a large group, so smart to use these abilities when you are heavily outnumbered. Now these ultimate abilities are awesome, but they do replace the suit powers from the first game, and there are also no suit mods like in Miles Morales, which means that suit unlocks are now purely cosmetic and don't unlock any additional benefits. But there is additional variety in the fact that many suits now have alternate variants that can change the color scheme. You can see if an outfit will have variants because it has these diamonds underneath, and these variants do need to be unlocked separately. The cost is not too high though, much less than unlocking the regular version of the suit. But yeah, if you love a suit's design but don't like the color, high chance there's now an alternate variant that you will enjoy. Now a lot of suits and other upgrades require technical parts which can be earned from various activities, but can also be found in these tech chests that are hidden all throughout New York. Listen for their distinct sound or look for the blue lights, and there are even rare gold variants that hold rare tech materials. You'll definitely want to grab as much of these as possible, as these materials are also required for your suit tech upgrades. These are very important as they replace the various buffs you previously received by leveling up. So if you want to up your health or damage or unlock an extra focus bar, you need to buy these upgrades, which become available after completing the early main story mission Amends. And there are more upgrades than stat increases, as each 3rd and 5th unlock in a suit tech tree offers you a choice of 2 different buffs. So for instance, your 3rd upgrade in the health tree offers you the option of restoring a bit of health on a perfect dodge or on a parry. So you have to pick which one is best for you, as you can only have one of the 2 active at a time. You can swap them out whenever you want though, so you can easily switch things up if you want to change your playstyle. And if that playstyle happens to involve a lot of stealth, you'll be very happy with the newly added web lines that allow you to create your own path to sneak around. After unlocking the tech during the main mission Bad Guys on the Block, you can hold L2 and press triangle to create a line that you can walk across. These lines can also be connected to one another, so you can use them to create your own web of walkways that you can then use to sneakily take out enemies with perch takedowns. It gives you a lot more freedom to pick your own angle and approach, so I definitely appreciate the addition. You do need to think about your placement though, as you can only have 6 of these web lines in existence at a time. And speaking of freedom to pick your own approach, fast travel has also seen a significant change that allows you to pinpoint a precise location on the map to spawn in. You can now pick the exact spot you want to go to, which is of course super convenient. But you do need to earn this ability for each district by completing activities in that area of the map. Each district now offers 3 rewards for completing these objectives, with the second reward being a fast travel unlock. Bigger activities like side missions reward more progress than smaller ones like photo ops, so focus on those if you want to unlock fast travel as quickly as possible. And yes, this new fast travel system means that the subway scenes from the previous games are gone, but in exchange we now have fun scenes that trigger when you switch between both Spider-Man. And we'll have a lot more tips for Spider-Man 2 on the channel, so subscribe to not miss those, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and if the next one is already up, you can watch it by clicking on the screen. I'll see you in the next one, goodbye.